Spirit.
Yeah, Bloody Valentine.
I ain't kidding. I forgot nail Valentine's Day.
I know. Valentine's Day. Which
You guys remember when we were little and they had the little heart candies and you used to have to make them little cards and give them to everybody in your class? Yeah, my little grandson was doing that yesterday. He wrote down all the names. I was so impressed. He's in kindergarten. That brought back memories. Because for us, it's just another day. But for them, it's fun. Candy and all kinds of stuff. Cupcakes.
I remember going out to buy the cards, that I would be giving to people, and I would just be like, whatever. But then I would have that special one, my best friend. I would be like, this is Amy's. This is the cute one because he's cute. But I don't want it to be. No, is that too forward?
I remember getting the little packs to give out to all classmates, and then there was always that one particular person that I would make them a card and
fancy.
Go all out just to get them to notice and
That's impressive.
And some of the bad years in retrospect, it's I do all that and then they're like, okay, thanks, and just give me some random nothing or just don't get that desired response, and I done sat there and cut out and made doilies and made spent 15 hours making the most perfect card ever in my mind, and as a sixth grader, but
that's fun.
I remember in elementary school, because all through kindergarten to sixth grade, me and this guy named Rafi Mills was in the same homeroom, and he would get the most Valentine. And I used to be so jealous.
How does that work? We only have so many kids in the classroom. How are they getting double whatever? Why are people doubling up on that kid?
Yeah.
I remember the year that I went to seventh grade after sixth grade, people had discovered even then, because I've been writing poetry all my life. People discovered that I had a knack for doing that. And come Valentine's Day, half the school guys are like, dude, David, I'm going to give you some, I got some money or I'll give you some of my cards or something. Dude, hook me up. This is going to so-and-so, hook me up with something, and I'm going to copy it. And
That's the new one.
You can start business doing that.
Oh, I was doing that because they were back then, the Marvel and the cards, the Fleer and all that, and Skybox cards. I was like, look, dude, bring the collection in. I'm going to pick and choose, and I got you.
Awesome. All right. Let us begin, shall we? Would you be willing to shut that door for me?
Oh, I'm fine.
It has to go across nope, it needs to go, open it back up.
Huh?
If you open it, it has to be on the track on the bottom. No.
Oh, outside.
There you go. Nope, just like that. Perfect.
Okay.
Did you send it? Thank you. Awesome. Let's all just take a deep breath. Just let it go. Do another one. Just settle into your breath. Let it fill you up. And when you exhale, just come into this present moment. It's the only thing that's happening anyway. Take another breath in. Fill up your lungs. And just let it go. Good morning. I'm Jane, for those of you that don't know me.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. Yeah. So this is Body, Mind, Spirit. And I am so excited because, every time I start this one, I'm like, it's body, mind, spirit. We have all three, right? We have a mind. However well it functions or not, we still have one and it is functioning nonetheless, right? We have a body. Yep, we sure do. And it's functioning however it's functioning, right? Like it or not, it's doing its thing. It's its own consciousness. It's its own intelligence. We don't even tell it what to do and it's doing it on its own. And then we have the spirit aspect, right? That's our energy body. It's our light. It's our love. It's our pureness. It's our soul, our spirit, whatever word resonates for you, right? We have this energetic part. And we have all these three bits. And I usually kind of go into all of them separately. And what I'm realizing in conversation is that I think a lot of people, including myself, keep these parts of ourselves separate. And I think when I really notice it is when I look at like the medical profession, and it's like you go and you have a pain and they look at the pain and they want to fix that pain, right? I don't know many medical professionals that pull back to get this hawk perspective and see you as a whole entity to say, wait a minute, well, your blood pressure is elevated because you eat hot dogs every day and you're under extreme stress, right? Instead, it's usually, well, here's a pill, right? Like we have been taught to separate these parts outside of ourselves so much that to actually receive holistic care from a professional is really rare. So then for us to turn around and give ourselves holistic care, it's kind of out of the box thinking, but it's also like in our natural way of being. So when I'm gonna ask you all a question. And I'm curious because you can take it however you want. I want to ask you, how do you feel? So you might take it into your mind, you may take it into your body, you may take it into your spirit, you may take it into the wholeness and say, I'm feeling light and bubbly, or I'm feeling like death, or, whatever it is that you're feeling, I'm curious. So I want to say good morning to the people on the internet. Welcome. Can we go in a circle? Can we do that? Kim, would you start?
Start what?
Exactly.
I wasn't even paying
I
attention.
know, you're
I'm sorry.
It's okay. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Awesome.
Yep, no complaints. It's Tuesday. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
All right. And how are you feeling?
I'm David. I'm feeling slightly imbalanced. Some of my alignments are a little bit off, but I'm
Okay.
working on that.
Imbalance. We're gonna go with that. I like these, like how it's just kind of concise, because that way we can tie it all together. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling low.
Low. Thank you for sharing.
Stamina, low stamina.
Oh.
I mean, I got the money, I got the body, I got the spirit, but the stamina is low for that.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. Ty, how you feeling?
I am feeling overwhelmed from grief and devastated from the loss of my loved ones who died by suicide and my chronic condition. But I am hopeful and I am open to feeling great because I'm still here and I'm happy.
Awesome. So you said grief, overwhelmed, happy, and one more. There's another one in there.
Yeah, that's a devastation.
Devastated. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I'm feeling spontaneous, happy, grateful, proud of myself today.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. How are you feeling?
I'm learning how to feel existing.
Existing. Got it. Thank you for sharing. How are you feeling in there? So far away.
I am at complete peace. I truly feel that I am really blessed beyond words.
Thank you for sharing. I'm going to assume the cozy human is feeling cozy. I'm going to speak for them. If they feel otherwise, they can interject. How you feeling?
I feel okay.
Feeling all right?
Stressed.
Feeling stressed.
Yes.
How you feeling?
I feel overwhelmed from all the emotions at once.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. I'm feeling really present. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling really present. We got some people feeling energetic, calm, feeling thankful, even with health issues. And some peeps are sending love to everybody. So take a deep breath and just let it go. and give yourself just a little like internal high five for taking a minute to ask yourself how you feel and to like communicate it and honor it and witness that for yourself. I don't know about y'all, but that's been a big work for me. I would shove down feelings or do things to distract myself away from them. And in turn, it would be self-harm in some way, right? Or I would harm others when I would be like over that shit. I'd be like, fine, I'll hurt you instead. But it was a practice for me to actually learn how to ask myself, like, how are you feeling? And then for me to be with that and be like, whoa, you care? Yes, I do care, Jane. How are you feeling? Well, I'm feeling really fucking angry right now. Thanks for asking. Oh yeah, I can feel that. Well, let's just breathe together. And I know how like pacifying, maybe kind of weird that sounds, but like nobody else did that shit for me when I was a kid. Right? If I felt anger as a kid or if I felt grief as a kid, it didn't matter, right? It's like, well, hurry up, we got to go get to school, or stop your whining, or well, you deserved that, or whatever the story was behind what I was feeling, whether it was physical, mental, emotional, energetic. It was always minimized, marginalized, shoved aside, or amplified and made me look like a fool, right? You're overreacting. Has anyone experienced any of this shit before? Okay, so like 3 of us. That's it. Okay. Anyone else?
Everybody.
Okay. I'm like, we're not. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, really, just 3 of us here. Okay, cool. Thanks, y'all. So like we have literally been programmed and conditioned to completely look over how we're feeling. And so much so that if we feel bad or uncomfortable, then we are taught to hurry up and fix it, make it go away. Hurry up, make it go away. You got a headache, Tylenol. I was crying yesterday, y'all. I had a really big clearing yesterday that started the night before. And I was experiencing a lot of sadness, a lot of gratitude, and a lot of compassion. And those are really big feelings, right? Like compassion is a really big feeling. To actually care and feel that in the physical, that's a deep feeling. You know, to feel actual gratitude, like it lights you up. Like I feel it from you when you mentioned it. You're like, like it's vibrating off of you, right? In sadness, wow, that's, you know, it wasn't quite grief. Waves of grief would come in, but the sadness was like, oh, it was there. And so I was crying, like, you know, when you cry so hard, I'm assuming other humans do this, I don't know, but you cry so hard that like, you're like, and you're like, everything is pumping, but you're just exhaling the cry until you're like, and then you do it again.
Yes.
No?
I just
Yeah. Okay. See, and so what I recognized, so that's where I was yesterday, right? And I'm like witnessing this. And what I recognized that was that my breath was breathing me. I was having a somatic release of traumas of storing all of these feelings and emotions and energy and not letting them out. So that breathing like that is your body literally doing the work for you to remove and alchemize and transmute all that shit that was put down from years and years of being told that I wasn't supposed to feel it. Right? Because for me to feel compassion, I need to look at the stuff I don't like. I need to look at the pain and suffering to see and feel the compassion. Right? Sometimes we can be grateful for like, oh, it's a sunny day. You're going to feel more gratitude if it's been raining for a week. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's only through the pain do we experience the pleasure. Right? And so I was like feeling it and I'm crying and I'm like, oh, and I'm in it. Right? And so, but I also had an appointment that I was showing up for. So I walk in and luckily it's a friend of mine. So I go in, she sees I'm there and I just step outside because she was finishing with her client. The client steps out and recognizes me. I've got sunglasses on. I'm just like that person. And she was like, Jane. I was like, and I turn around and she goes, oh God, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just releasing a whole lot right now. It's totally good. And she was like, oh my God, like, do you need a hug? Like, what can I do? I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I'm feeling. This is what feeling looks like. It's messy. I know. And what I recognized is that even when we are experiencing the emotions that we have in the now, or whatever feeling, whatever discomfort, or whatever joy, people don't know how to even handle it. People don't even know how to be a witness to it without being like, oh my God, let me take care of this for you. Wait, you're sad? Here, let me fix it. As opposed to like, oh, you just need some Kleenex here. You know? And so because we can't be around, because traditionally we haven't been able to be around others who can just witness us feeling anger, feeling despondent, feeling sad, feeling imbalanced, feeling confused, feeling low, feeling joy, feeling grateful, feeling peace. We haven't had that experience for people to see that shit and to just let us do that and be that and hold that sacred space. Just like, oh yeah, you're feeling stressed. I see you. It fucking sucks. I know. Let me know if I can do anything. And because we haven't had that experience, we can't even do it for ourselves. So take a deep breath. And just acknowledge that you are giving yourself in this now moment time and space to feel, to be witnessed by humans, because we all do it, whatever the feeling is, whether you like the feeling or you don't like the feeling. Because this to me is how we're moving into a new earth. This is how we're moving into a new reality. It's for us to be able to be ourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pain, the joy, the celebration, the liberation, the breaking, and to be able to not only be in that, but to be able to witness others in it. Because the world out there is a wee bit of a shit show. And it's also completely changing because people are opening up their hearts and being more real. So that is what I wanted to share about, is because I'm noticing that we've separated. Oh, it's just in my head. Oh, it's just in my head. Yesterday I could have been like, oh God, I need to let me touch up my face because it looks bad, my body, right? I need to change my appearance so I don't make somebody uncomfortable. Oh, let me stop focusing on that because every time I think about that, I cry even more. I didn't marginalize my feelings by saying, Jane, that's stupid. Why are you feeling that? There's nothing to be sad about. Look at what you do have. No, I just let it be. And I held it all as a one. Which were you going to share, Rodney?
I get that, and I do want to be in the now. And it seems like, it's like a slow walk. It's like, well, thank you for acknowledging me, but it don't come out like thank you for acknowledging me. It comes off like, I'm shooting back at them or something. So, but the thing is, I do want to be noticing the present. But then the thing about, I'm not noticing the present. I'm always, did you just call me? So, you know what I mean? And I didn't say nothing of the that sort, but, so I'm stepping away, but, to be not acknowledged or to be misunderstood, and now it seems like a jib. They jibbing at me.
Yeah.
So I got a negative way of like coming across, when that kind of sort of thing. It's like I'm not here in the now, or you purposely avoid on purpose,
Thank you for mentioning that. I think that, has anyone else experienced stuff like that? Yeah. So, when I experience those feelings where it's like, wow, they just, however, this is how they responded to me, and like, ugh, that didn't feel good. It felt like it was a jab or whatever it was. And then I remembered the 4 agreements. Have y'all read the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz?
Yeah.
It's one of the better books I've ever read. Highly encourage it. He's of the Toltec lineage, and he speaks from the Toltec traditions. It's ancient human ways that are profound and simple. But one of the 4 agreements to living a really easeful human life is don't make assumptions, right? And don't take anything personally.
Don't take it personally.
Right? And we do that, right? Someone looks at me and I'm like, oh, how did you look at me like that? And I'm like, I have no idea what they're thinking or feeling. I can project whatever it is, and I might be right, I might not be, who cares? But like I was, kind of like that I'm rubber, you're glue kind of thing. Y'all remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I love that as a kid, I would stand in that space. Like, yeah, haha, it's bouncing off of me, it's sticking back at you. Right? And I would be like so proud of myself for that shit. Until I let the anger really come out, and that was a different story. But it's to not take anything personally from someone else. But then to not take who I am. It's not to not take me personally, right? Like we get to learn how to take ourselves personally. Like, oh my God, like I'm taking you personally here. Like I give a shit about you. You're feeling sad. You're feeling low. You're feeling happy. You're feeling some ways. Yeah, you are. Let's do this together. And that's acting as the integration of the body, the mind, and the spirit, so that when we do feel unwell in any other way, when we do go to a medical professional, instead of us going and saying, yeah, I have this really bad pain in my neck, we can actually say, yeah, I'm noticing that I have this pain in my neck and, I'm experiencing a lot of stress and I've been experiencing a lot more sadness lately. I've had more money woes. Money's getting really tight lately. And I really haven't been eating balanced, right? So if I'm taking me personally, I'm going to take me personally to the professional and say, here is my situation, right? And then I'm going to be able to also pick up if they are trying to Band-Aid some, like if they're just trying to Band-Aid, if they're just like, well, here, just take this pill for the pain in your neck, then I know that doctor didn't listen to anything I said.
Yeah.
And what type of doctor would you go to that can like holistically help all that and not just pull you up?
I mean, I would look into like holistic doctors and naturopathic doctors, homeopathic doctors. I haven't seen a medical professional and I don't remember when because I don't have insurance and I haven't for a very long time. So,
Well, we used to have a holistic healing book in our house, holistic healing.
yeah,
It's like big as a phone book. Well,
Yeah.
Atlanta phone book.
yeah. I remember I have one too. I look at the wholeness of me, when I don't feel well, right? So, okay. May I use yours, Kenny, about the feeling? Okay, so feeling low, right? So that's where I can start to take care of myself. One, I get to acknowledge that I'm feeling it, and I get to accept that I'm feeling it, and I don't need to change it, right? So if I start to accept, I feel low. I'm okay with feeling low. I don't like feeling low. I'm aware that I feel low. And then I start to go into my body and ask myself, like, where do I feel it in my body? So here's the question. So wait, has anyone else in here ever felt low? Okay, cool. So just kind of breathe into that feeling. And when you feel low or when you have felt low in your life, where do you feel it in your physical body?
My back,
Your back,
my jaw.
your jaw,
Sometimes in my head.
in your head,
Also my stomach.
and your
It
stomach.
varies.
Yeah, I gotta force myself sometimes to eat.
So anyone anywhere else you feel low in your body when you just feel like when you're feeling low?
Yeah, my legs.
Your legs.
Yeah.
Okay. So now here I am, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, okay, I feel low. Hey body, okay, I feel it here and there. I feel it in 3 places a day. Okay, I do. It's okay that I feel low. By doing that for ourselves, we start to shift our nervous system response and we start to tell ourselves that it's safe to feel, and then it allows the feeling of whatever we're feeling to move through us, and that way we don't hold it in our body anymore. There was, let's see, stressed. I know a couple people in life that have felt stressed. It's funny how when we feel stressed, we go straight to the mind. How can I fix it? What can I do? Right? What do I need to do differently? How do I need to change things? What do I need to change about myself? What do I need to change about the place that I'm at? Do I need to change a job? Do I need to change a relationship? The mind won't shut up when we're stressed, right?
It's like a non-stop thing.
Isn't it great?
Oh, it's so good.
It's so fun,
I
right?
love it.
It's just like, yay. So then it's like, okay, so if I'm gonna feel this, if I'm experiencing a lot of stress in a now moment, so like right now I'm like, oh, I'm stressed out, like shit's glitching, right? And I'm like, I don't remember where I need to go right now. Our memory starts to shift. Have you noticed that when you feel stressed? We can't even remember like, oh shit, I forgot to let the cat back in because I was so stressed. You know, I forgot to make that phone call, forgot to respond to email. And then we just add to the stress. Oh, it's so fun how that works. So then when we're feeling stressed, first step is we take a deep breath. I always recommend trying it when I say it. And remind ourselves that everything in this right now moment is fine and is as it should be in this right now. The only thing that I have is this right now. That's all I got. Anything that happened before literally isn't real. It's a memory. Nothing's happened after this now. It's make-believe. The only thing that's happening is right now. I got my breath. Let me deepen my breath. Okay? Nothing's changing, right? But I am telling myself, right, that I'm soothing myself, right? So again, I'm shifting my nervous system. My blood pressure is going to start to balance itself back out, right? So then I'm going to start to feel, and then if I'm breathing, I'm actually oxygenating, because if you ever notice when you're stressed, you don't breathe. You breathe shallow.
Or you hyperventilate.
Right, with your shallow breaths,
Yeah.
you know, just way faster, you know. And oftentimes when we hyperventilate, has anyone ever done that? Oftentimes when we hyperventilate, if we allow it to come through with the emotions, as opposed to letting the mind get swirled in it, telling myself that I shouldn't be doing this and, oh God, am I going to die? If we take out those questions like, oh, am I going to die because I can't breathe? If we stop the mental and say, wow, my body is breathing itself in an interesting way. I'm going to witness this shit. You know, next thing you know, we may start crying. It may turn into laughter, or we might end up soothing it back down. Right? So stress is a really, really interesting trick of the mind, because it'll manifest in our body and in our breath. And we get to be the ones to be the controller and say, okay, it's okay right now. I'm okay. I love who I am. I love who I'm becoming. I love who I was, because they got me to where I am now. And right now I'm safe. In this now moment, I'm safe. Okay. Right? And so we start to just kind of calm down a little bit more. Can you feel the difference just even in the conversation of it?
Yeah.
What was another feeling that, yes. I want to,
Will you believe that, or you have choice of the way you feel?
yes.
You
And
believe it.
I think that we feel what we feel. I think it's our choice in what we call it and how we feel about how we feel.
Do you feel that we can change those feelings?
Yes, and not like a light. It's not like it's on and it's off.
Yeah,
There's a build up, there's a rising and a falling,
right.
you know, and there's a duration of time that everything takes, because it's all energy moving, right? So it's just, how is that energy moving? It's not meant to just be cut off and destroyed, because we can't do that with energy. So it's just, how am I feeling about what I'm feeling? And that allows it to move at a pace that's more healthy and balanced and natural, as opposed to.
This, and I'm not trying to be all that, but I've heard it on the growth of pain, but change is pain. And that's more pain when it's just somewhere we get off the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, change isn't comfortable. Stagnation is death.
Right.
And it's a painful death. We can live our life in death every day, and it sucks. We can live our life in life, which is going to be changing, which means there's going to be some discomfort. There's going to be some hard times. I want to talk about the overwhelm, because it was kind of something you mentioned. You mentioned you mentioned the overwhelmed, yeah. And you mentioned the overwhelmed, all the feelings, all at once.
That's okay.
It is. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Like, I got too much. And isn't it funny? Isn't it funny, yo? Like, for real, think about this. I remember being a kid, and like, on like the fancy occasion, we would go to either Ponderosa or Sizzler. Do y'all remember those? It's like, they were like, to me, they're like the fancy Golden Corrals. We didn't have Golden Corrals where I lived. And I remember going and being this kid, right? And I was a real fat kid. I was a giant child. I could eat like it was my job. And I went to this buffet and I would be like, whoa. And then I'd go to like the dessert area and be like, whoa, you know, like ice cream, you know, and there would be so much, and I could never, ever have eaten all of it. Right? So think about this. Yeah, depends on how long I'm there. I mean, let's be honest. But think about this, right? I could never have taken all of that in, right? So how could I handle that? I could be disappointed that I can't deal with all this. I could be mad at myself that I can't. I could make myself sick and try to do it all at once. I could be patient and just invest in a whole day of trying to get through the whole buffet. I could go back as often as I needed whenever I felt I was ready to deal with all the things and deal with or eat what I can. Be like, okay, I am complete now. And I'm not going to judge myself for if I was able to eat, you know, for an hour and eat all the things, right, for 5 minutes and ate all of it or whatever. And it starts to, so when we apply this to our life of overwhelm, I have so many feelings. I have so much. I have so many things I get to do and I got to do. I have so many amends that I need to make. I have so much forgiveness that I still have space for. I have so much compassion left to experience in my life. I have so many sorries to experience. I have so many left turns to make when I should have turned right. I have so many celebrations. It's so funny though, we always start when we feel overwhelmed, it's always the bad shit. We never get overwhelmed at all the joy we still have left to live in. So then when we start to feel overwhelmed with all the heavy shit that feels like burden, what if, right? Like just what if, I like the game of what if. What if we took that and said, yeah, I have all of this shit. And, right? And can I have all of this joy too? Can I? Can I have all of this stress and can I have all of this peace at the same time? Yeah. We can. We're multidimensional beings and we're able to feel multiple things at once. Like yesterday, I was experiencing sadness, grief, and compassion. So we can experience all. We don't have to just stick in one. And if I stick in just the feeling of overwhelm, I don't get to feel all of those different tastes of all the other things that I have on my plate. I'm just feeling the overwhelm of it. And that's just too much. That's just too much. We're not made to feel overwhelm. Does that make sense?
It does, because the experience I get, especially when I was younger, when I'm overwhelmed, you know, I'm gonna go pick a fight because this is the only way I can just like swing at something. You
Yes.
know?
Can I
want to
pause?
swing.
I love that. Can we pause this?
Go ahead.
Okay. When you feel overwhelmed, okay, how would you before let it out?
Paint or make a song or do some creative.
Creation. You were saying like you would go pick a fight.
Yeah.
What else?
Go get high.
Go get high. What else?
Make music, you know.
Ooh, music.
Well, I was shut down. I don't say nothing at all.
Shut down.
Yeah,
What about
that too. All of those.
Yes. What about you?
Ride my bike until I get tired.
Ah, ride your bike until you get tired.
Play some video games.
Video
Depending
games.
on which, something
Yeah.
like, sometimes Skyrim, sometimes I'll just be so overwhelmed with like the negative. I'll throw in like
Okay.
a fighting game and just.
Okay. What? Yes.
Go outside and commune with nature.
Ah, nature. Is that what you do, or do you have something else?
Oh, I put in AirPods and play the video game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So just take a deep breath. Just let it go. So out of the methods that you shared, when you are complete with that action, raise your hand if it made you feel better.
Without
Okay. While you were doing it, raise your hand if it made you feel better while you were doing it. Okay. I'm curious. Because, I used to lie to myself too. I used to lie to myself and tell myself that I would feel better when I made someone else feel bad.
Yeah.
I would lie to myself. I would lie to myself and be like, okay, yeah, you feel better now because you made them hurt too. And sometimes them was me.
Take your pain and ship it off to someone else.
Or take my pain
Yeah.
and hurt myself by like getting high.
Right.
Right? Of course I would feel better afterward. After I got in that fight, I felt better, all right. After I used to do video games a lot, yeah, I would feel better afterward. I would just have forgotten. I didn't process shit, right? I wasn't. That was me lying to myself to use a pattern of distraction from doing what I needed to do, which was to feel what I was fucking feeling. And then we have other methods. Some of you shared some things that literally keep you more present, and it moves the energy through the body. The first one, creation. Anything in the realm of creation. And I'm not judging anything. I'm just sharing like on the body how these things make a big impact. If we do something creative, make music, make art, we dance, we sing, we're moving energy from a very specific part of the body that is normally accustomed to addictive behaviors. It's in our sacral space. So if I ever feel like I need to grab a bottle or a cake, really, whatever, if I can dance or sing or color, then energetically in my body, I'm moving that trauma energy and that emotion out of my body. And if I just distract my mind away from it, that energy stays in my body. Yeah.
For me, like I said, I tried all those things, still do. But I found the only thing that actually worked for me was like if I go to the beach, like if I just, nothing else is working. Because it seemed like to me, everything else I was doing, I don't lie to myself and say, oh yeah, I feel great now. But really, I was just numbing it. I was just trying not to feel it. But when I go to the beach and sit by the water, doing absolutely nothing by myself, then I can cry to myself, I can be mad at myself, and nobody would hear it. But that was like the only way that I can remember that I actually did feel better because I was dealing with it.
Yes. Thank you for speaking to that and sharing that, because it makes me think of what the two of you said, riding your bike and communing in nature. There's this thing about letting our body go back to the earth. And well, first of all, when we die, we go back to her anyway. So let's be honest, right? And we came from her, she's the mama. But so when we go back to the divine mother, right? The earth, where we can cry the tears, where we can reconnect, we can remember, we can start to see ourselves in nature, right? When you're sitting at the ocean, you see the waves. Wow, isn't that just a big metaphor for life? Whether it's coming in like crazy or, you're in there playing or it burns your eyes. There's so many metaphors in it that we can take and apply to ourselves. When I'm sitting by a tree, when I'm watching a flower bloom, right? Whatever it is, I'm watching the clouds roll by. I'm looking at the sun, not directly. Feeling it on my skin. And, when I'm pedaling my bike up a hill, wow. There's this action that when we are with the earth, there is a physical action that isn't necessarily easy, right? Like walking on the beach. It's not like walking on the floor. You got the sand, you got this trudging action, you're going for a walk. You walk long enough, your ass is going to get tired, so there's this physical exertion. So that physical exertion, which is probably, Rodney, why you felt a sense of relief, because there's a movement out of the body that moves emotions through the body, right? Now, it'd be, I think, total personal opinion, that it's more kind to hit like a punching bag than a human. Just putting that out there. But there is that release that goes with that. There, like, I work with people during like trauma release and a bunch of shit. And a part of it is moving through some energy that was stuck when we got frozen, when some abuse was happening to us or outside of us that we witnessed. So riding our bike, going for a run, dancing, back to that again. These physical exertions move all this through the body. But if I don't give myself the time, space, and grace to like ask myself, all right, like, what are you feeling today? Like, how are you feeling? Okay. And ask myself, okay, am I choosing to run away from it? Am I choosing to face it? Am I choosing to feel it? Because I can do all of it.
It reminds me of this Bugs Bunny cartoon long ago. Elmer Fudd is trying to take a nap. So Bugs Bunny comes with this nightmare painter. They go paint a nightmare in his head. The rabbits is coming in, he's multiplying rabbits all through Elmer Fudd's head, you know what I mean? And he wakes up and he's, oh, such that a nightmare. It's that embracing when all things are just everything wow. It's crazy, it's bananas, right? And then, it's like your emotions of the thing is, I need to swing at something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then, does anyone ever feel like that? Like you just want to start swinging on something?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's a person, I don't want you to share that. What so my question though is, what do you then swing on?
Yeah.
Like what do you do?
Well, I do activities like I have to dance, I have to move, and I put like a lot of energy into arts. Because if I don't, I get stuck and I feel sad and I feel down. But I try to take that energy and either do an activity or I go around other people and help people and talk to them and just do those type of things. Because for me, I had not processed my feelings so long that I began to get seizures where I would just pass out and fall out, or I became immobile and I couldn't move at all. So I did that for so long that I can walk and talk, and the next thing I know, I'm on the ground and I'm constantly falling. But it's because I never processed my energy. I never talked about it. I felt like I couldn't say if I was okay. But it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
Like I have 331 days
So good.
seizure free. And I'm celebrating that because I finally took the time to say, you know what? Some really messed up stuff happened when I was 5. But I'm okay now. I'm not 5 anymore, but I had to go back to 5 when the hurt started and start dealing with it. Because if I didn't, then every year I would think about, man, why did Lindsay push me down on the playground? I would go back to that and I would relive it and I would be stuck and be sad. Me and Lindsay continue to be great friends. Why did I hold on to that? I didn't have time for the other good memories and I'm focusing on the bad memories. But for me, I have to use energy in a positive way because I've seen the other side when your energy and the thoughts will stop your body from even working.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. What else? Who else wants to share what do you swing on?
I've learned since I've got a knack for writing, a lot of times when I'm too overwhelmed to sit down and want to focus on playing a game, I'll spill it out in one way or another to writing, be it typing up something or old school pen to paper and like spit that venom, so to speak. Like,
Yeah.
so sometimes some of the best stuff that I've ever written is when I'm in those terrible dark spaces and I just spill that stuff out. And wow, yeah, I mean,
So you swing with a pen.
oh
You
yeah,
swing with the creativity. What else have y'all been swinging on? Like to move this through your body. You raised your hand. You did too. You raised it first, and then you raised it.
I just like different things in the challenge me, like because I'm one of the people that I don't like the challenge to beat me. So instead of beating up on somebody, I just get something real like, yeah, this is not gonna beat it, and I just go with that.
Like a physical challenge?
No, not necessarily, just anything that might be like uncomfortable to me or something that I just been not wanting to do because I didn't want to do. You know what I mean? I just make myself get in that moment and just deal with whatever comes with that challenge.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that.
I just want to say, patient, I found out for me, patient and faith is a motivator for me. And I can get that. If I want that, I can get that easily. It easily come to me. You know, 'cause I feel like all my friends, my family, everybody dead. But guess what? I ain't dead. So I choose to live. You know, I really do. You know? And I got gratitude towards that. Every day of my life, you know, I can go to bed, I can wake up, and I say, thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Every day, that's the reason why I act that way. Because I'm grateful how far I came. You know, I'm going on 76 years old. You know what? I can brag about that. Because all my brothers and sisters, they died right behind each other. Been gone. And then most all my friends that I grew up with, they dead and gone.
You're like, I'm still here.
Yeah,
I don't want to be happy about it, damn it.
And I wonder sometimes.
You're going down swinging your happiness.
Yeah, all the garbage I throw out there, I wonder what I'm still here sometimes. But you know what? You got better things for me to do.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. You know, I think that I want to share this and then start to wrap it up. But like something that just kind of came into my awareness and memory is like how often when someone is having their experience, so like they're having an emotion and they're like, it's coming through like their face or whatever. And have you all seen people do this? Like, I'm going to pretend like you're crying right now. And have people done this like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Have you ever seen that or done that or had
I
that
done
happen?
it one time and she said
I
that
know.
I can
was
try
like,
if
stop
I
it.
want to.
I know, right? I know, exactly. But when we do that, like someone's like in their process and they're like, it stops them from their process. Because all of a sudden now they know that someone's watching them as opposed to witnessing them. There's a big difference, right? Witnessing is saying like, I see you, you know, is there anything you need? You know, like a tissue, like in the physical. Like that to me is like max, you know? And so because we've even experienced that, right? Or like someone will like, I'll be crying and someone's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I can see that they're triggered. Ooh, I can see they're upset because they can't handle me being upset. Like the woman yesterday was like, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. And then I started to have to like soothe her. So I had to pause my experience in soothing and whatever to soothe her because she was not comfortable with me humaning. Right? So then what we do is our entire life of this, we will compartmentalize all of this shit. And it's just stuff that we're made to feel. We're not supposed to carry it with us. You know, and we can always go back to nature. We can go back to the beach. We can go back to the yard. We can go to the tree. We can go to the garden. It doesn't matter. We can always go back outside, get back to the earth and say, wait a minute. It's all okay. Everything's fine. It's just now. I've got my breath. I've got my body. I've got my spirit. I am at one with love because I am that. It's all going to be okay. Because maybe no one ever spoke to me like that, but doesn't mean that I don't deserve to be spoken to like that. So that means I get to speak to myself like that. And that means that I can speak with others like that. So it's always this internal job first, recognizing that I am my body, my mind, and my spirit. Made to feel all of it. And then we can continue on. So to start to wrap this up, I just want to bring into the awareness that like, there's a lot of shifts happening right now on the earth plane. It's like really big stuff. Like really big, dramatic and traumatic things are happening here in the United States as well as beyond. So that means more people are going to be seeing that and experiencing that. So it might elicit more fear, more instability, more stress, more overwhelm. And it also holds space for more compassion, more grace, more love, and more kindness to come in. And it takes each of us, I think, to be all of that, the compassionate ones, the graceful ones, the kind ones, in the face of whatever bullshit adversity is happening outside of us, so we can maintain our own nervous system, so we can be okay with whatever changes are happening on the earth plane. Because we're all gonna die anyway. Like, why not enjoy these days? Right? Like, true story. Like, we're good. We're not here in this body forever.
Right.
And yet we're eternal. Again, it's funny. I know.
I used to be that way when I was younger.
You used to be eternal one?
No, I'm not.
I'm not eternal anymore. I'm done.
No, not that. I'm not talking. I'm talking about when I first heard, how I did with, that bonker time. Everything like breaks out. It usually because of bills. You know what I mean? And then the thing, but I wasn't alone. The partner, was a contribution towards that, and also be contributing from towards that. So it was turmoil, you know what I mean? And I was younger though. But now everything, that's a small thing to a giant now, because that stuff is past, you know what I mean? I don't get that way when everything is like turned up. I don't get that way because I just know as years go by, my way of thinking, processing things, it is an easier, simple way out of it now. It ain't a long battle no more. It ain't I got so many hurdles to make, to get this number now, because numbers don't lie. Yeah, I don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore. I mean, I don't simplify things, but my life is simple. So I don't have to go chaos when I figure everything is bonkers. But
right?
I don't have to do that no more.
No. And so, do y'all feel often more peace when you're alone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times that's the case, right? Like when I'm alone, I can feel peace, and then when I get like a large group, then I can either pick up on someone else's energy, or I'm already whatever, I feel shit. Like we feel shit. And then when we do that, we feel like we have to like talk, or we have to like label ourselves. Well, I'm an extrovert, so that means I need to do the thing. Or I'm an introvert, so I gotta be quiet. So we start to like behave in these patterns and shit. And something that I would like to do for the next like 2 minutes, if you all are willing to do this for 2 minutes. I know I'm asking you if you'll be willing to do something before I'm telling you what it is.
It's 120 seconds.
What is
It
it?
is.
Numbers don't lie.
It is to sit in the room without talking and looking around at each other. That's it. Are y'all willing to do that with me? I'm guessing by the lack of no's that those are yeses. So I'm going to take that as a consent. So just take a deep breath in. Just let it go. Remember that we're all just versions of each other living in different bodies and different timelines and experiences. An invitation is to just look around, make eye contact if you can with your brothers and sisters in this room in silence.
Hey.
There's somebody back there, I can't see. I'm going through my glasses, hope you see me.
It's funny when we talk or laugh, it's because we're having a trauma response. We can't handle the discomfort. So take a deep breath in. Give yourself grace and just let it go. Just look around. And maybe as you're looking around, you imagine your heart is just loving the people in this room outside of yourself. That's it. Just loving them for who they are, whether you know them or not. For showing up in this life. And let yourself be open to receiving that love from the people in this room. Take another deep breath in. Just let it go. And only you know the answers to the questions I'm going to ask. You don't have to answer it out loud. It's just for your own reflection. How did that feel to you? Was it comfortable to look at others in love? Was it comfortable to be silent? Was it comfortable to be seen in acceptance and love? Did you notice if you were able to look at people in the eyes, or were you not? No judgment on any of this. No judgment at all. Just an awareness. And then ask yourself if you like those things. Does it bring you joy that I was able to look at people? Or does it bring you joy that I wasn't able to look at people? Whatever. Does it bring you joy? Does it bring you light? And if the answer to anything was no, that didn't feel good, then you can go into a why. Just why not? It was because I wasn't nobody this. I don't know, whatever. You know your story. But we're here to be human with each other. We're here to be seen. We're here to see ourselves and each other, right? At least that's otherwise, then why the fuck would we all be here? On this earth plane together. You know? Like we're not like, you live in this tree and you live in this tree. No more communicating. Like we're here, like on the ground, all like bustling around next to each other. So. So we'll just close with that. Just close with this invitation for contemplation on how that felt, and just allowing ourselves to like just feel the feels and be with yourself all the time, really presently and fully. And then you can put on your calendar to be back here on Thursday at 10 a.m. Because I'll be here. You can be here at any other time, and I'm here on Thursdays at 10. And that one is called Expansions. It's the spiritual dimensional wellness.
That's the one with the
Yeah, I usually bring tinctures and
yeah.
play with some frequencies and
I
expand
always
that.
forget the name of the team.
I know, because it's a weird word. It's a
Well,
weird
no,
word,
there's
tincture.
there's different resonant things that people use, and that's a little more on the obscure side for people here in the West.
Oh,
As far as
I can see that.
what I've been exposed to. Does that make sense?
Can I call you
I
back?
can see that. Yeah, I feel like the ones I have are like, I feel like they're like Buddhist.
But yeah, I was gonna say they got that kind of Hindi Taoist
Yes, ma'am.
ideology where they're
It's an
more-
Eastern vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like definitely, but not something that
Thank you all for being here. I love
People.
y'all.
many people in the West are